the thing that moved me so much was we were proving the concept of the story that we were telling. Genius is everywhere. They're everywhere. We just have to value it.
Hi, Christopher.
Hello.
Hello, thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to talk to you, and especially to talk about Radical. And amazing movie. I cry, I laugh, and I watched like 3 times already.
Oh, wow.
So yes, I need to get all these small details of the story. So how was it for you, like to adapt Joshua Davis' article to the big screen?
Well, it was really interesting because it's the first time I've done something that's really, based on a true story, and we really wanted to hew to the truth. We wanted to stay faithful to the story, certainly in spirit, but many, many times in actual, minute detail. The nature of that story, of the real story, it's set in stone. It is what happened. What happen's incredible. And from a filmmaker standpoint of telling that incredible story, it's almost challenging because you're limited at where you can go and how you have to stick to what happened. And so a big conversation for us was, can we tell a window on this story of the actual facts that maybe do this in a way that hasn't really been done before? And people say another teacher movie. I'm like, we need like 20 more of them. We don't ask that about another superhero movie. But for this, the challenge was, what's so different about this movie, first of all, as you've just said off camera, these kids, they're 11, they're 12 years old, they're amazing. And then the particular nature of the circumstances, the lack of resources that they're facing. We've never seen that before in this kind of movie. And those two things, kind of together, on the one hand, gave us this great circumstance to start from, but on the other hand, in terms of the actual story and where it went, I thought, instead of the facts, instead of the headline of the story, what I really want to know is, how did this happen? And I want to get into the nitty-gritty of the relationship, of those moments of sparking curiosity, of inspiration, but fundamentally, even that, how did that happen? And the answer that we kind of came to was actually all the way back in the real Sergio, which was, the guy's a saint, he's the real deal, but he's somebody who valued these children as people and saw this, each one with their different learning skills or abilities, but each one as this huge ball of potential that didn't recognize itself, didn't recognize what it could do, what it could be, and set it on himself to unlock that, to open it up. And so it was that dynamic. How does that happen? That was what I think engaged me most as a writer and as a director.
Señor Juárez, no lo vi en la junta de maestros esta mañana.
Sí, es que tenía varias cosas que cambiar aquí en mi salón.
Sí, ya vi. ¿Tiene algún problema con los muebles?
No, nomás contra algunos.
Como su escritorio, por ejemplo.
Es que creo que no necesito un escritorio.
No. Tiene que tener un escritorio. Todos los maestros tienen uno.
¿Hay alguna regla escrita que diga que tengo que tener uno?
No es una de esas reglas escritas, pero si no, ¿cómo van a saber los niños quién está a cargo? ¿Quién es la autoridad? Dígame, si convierte su salón de clases en un patio de recreo, ¿qué va a hacer después? ¿Convertir el patio en un salón de clases? ¿Cuál es su historia, profesor?
¿A qué se refiere?
Este lugar. ¿Sabe cómo le dicen?
La escuela de castigo.
Exacto.
Sí.
Y su nombre era el primero en la lista de transferencia. El único, de hecho. Usted pidió venir aquí. ¿Para qué?
Pues, quizá estoy loco.
¿Me estás oyendo de algo?
No, solo quería probar algo distinto.
¿Cómo qué?
No sé. Sigo tratando de descubrirlo.
Tal Tal vez este es el lugar para sus descubrimientos. Después de todo, a nadie le importa un carajo lo que pasa aquí. Solo hágame un favor. No vaya a patear el avispero, ¿ok?
No, ¿cómo cree que? No.
El escritorio se queda adentro.
¿Me ayuda a meterlo? Ándale.
Yeah, no, the story is amazing. Sergio's story is amazing. The kids is amazing. Like, and I think Eugenio, he incorporates Sergio in a way that it's you know what I mean, because he's very generous as well. Eugenio.
You just said the word that I say the most often when I talk about Eugenio in any interview, which is that he's just so generous. He's so giving, which is incredible. But again, back to your first question. Knowing that I'm writing this story and it's going to be Eugenio Derbez, because I didn't write. He sent me the project, so I knew who I was writing it for, which you never get to do. And knowing that it was going to be him, that this life force, this light, this gorgeous soul was going to come in here, it just gave me kind of more opportunity to stretch it all.
Yeah, how was this collaboration with him, with Eugenio?
It was amazing. First of all, you have the biggest movie star in Latin America in a room with a bunch of kids who've never acted before, right? So there's already this huge counterbalance. So whoa, but at the same time, because he is this generous soul, knows how to come in and put them at ease, and he's telling jokes off camera, like always keeping them focused. And but at the same time, these kids who'd never acted before had this idol that they could look up to and want to impress. And it's funny because somebody recently asked me if I ever had a teacher like Sergio, and I was lucky enough to have that teacher, and who made me feel valued. And I remember, and she was like a friend. She wasn't an authority that was pointing her finger down at me and telling me to memorize this, stay in line, raise your hand. She was this like partner that I could learn with, but most fundamentally, like I wanted to make her happy. I wanted to impress her. I wanted her to be happy with me.
Yeah.
And I was a bad student until I had that teacher, and I had straight A's for the rest of my life because that kept going, where I now saw my own ability to do things that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, it's amazing. And the movie is amazing. And I bet you have challenges creating this, on set to find the perfect place to shoot, the classrooms and everything. What was the biggest one?
I'd say the biggest challenge was shooting in a neighborhood and in an area which was exactly like the story setting that we were telling, which was extremely low resources. There were heavy winds and very dirty streets. There were literally hundreds of wild dogs going around, and I don't know if you know, but Eugenio is a huge animal rights activist.
Yeah.
So he took it upon himself to bring them all in, spade, neuter them, get them washed, get their nails done. 50 dogs got adopted while we were on set. They're all walking around now, all fluffy and clean. But it was the circumstance in the hot sun, windy. But on the other hand, that kind of circumstance, I think, replicated for our actors and especially for our kids, that kind of hardship, that kind of setting where the real story took place. So it was very effective.
Yeah, and doing this project, what did you learn about yourself? Did you learn anything as a director?
Okay, so un llorón. That's what I learned.
What?
A llorón.
A llorón.
A crier. Yeah. No, I literally didn't cry at everything until I started making this movie. It started actually when I was writing, but then bring the kids in and just watch a kid try to do anything now. And I became a dad also in the process, and my son's now 9. But yeah, watch a kid do anything, and I'm crying. And then watching all of these moments where I was just so struck the whole time with, here we are telling a story about kids discovering their potential, and I'm working with kids who've never acted before and discovering their potential. They can act. They can do this. They can do this with Eugenio Derbez, the biggest thing ever, and they're holding their own, and they're being respected and valued by all of us, and I think that's why we get the performances we get. I think anyway, it's very humbling.
I know, I know. It's very emotional, and I think all of you guys have learned it. And there is something it's something about like those kids, like we're like talking about, they're very special, and even Jenifer that plays Paloma, and her commitment to play the right Paloma, because she wanna pursue it, like
she's incredible. So a quick story: we were at Sundance, and somebody said, "How did you find Paloma?" You know, in the audience with a microphone, and I told the story that we couldn't find her. We were desperate, it wasn't working, and so at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm going through the Dropbox file of general casting rejects, the also-rans, that they didn't show me, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids. And at 3 o'clock in the morning, there she is. And I wake up my wife, I'm like, you gotta see this! She's like, okay, can I go back to bed? Like, she looks great, please. But when I was telling that story in Sundance, I started crying.
Of course.
And the guy had the microphone still at Sundance, and he says, what about that just made you emotional? And I think the reason I was crying, it was hitting me right then and there in a way that it hadn't before. And my answer was because I found a genius. But
I know.
But the thing that moved me so much was we were proving the concept of the story that we were telling. Genius is everywhere. They're everywhere. We just have to value it.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter where you're at, where you're from. You always find people, amazing people out there. And I got emotional too, because I can see the story, because I'm from Brazil, I can see the story in the favelas over there.
Yeah.
I can see the story in Mexico, Chile, Venezuela, whatever, in China, any place. It's amazing. It's an amazing story, Christopher, that you delivered together with Eugenio. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Muito obrigada.
Muchas gracias.
And a lot of success always. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now I have to do my
Got
makeup
emotional.
over.
I'm gonna cry now. They're crier babies now.
I told you, it's like you pulled it out of me.
If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.